amendments where applicable in the bill. I want to report that yes, we interacted with the Governor Bank of Uganda actually twice. After we had gotten proposals, we flashed to him, and the governor also agreed with the committee and sent us more amendments, which we incorporated.
Thank you.
I need to report.
Thank you.
I need to report, however, that this majority report that was signed by more than 3/4 membership also has minority reports. In fact, because it's my duty as the reader of the majority report to report the House that we have 5 minority reports. 5 minority reports.
Are there 5?
I beg to report, Right Honorable Speaker.
Thank you. Can I have now the minority report? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Right Honorable Speaker, I present this minority report, and we have agreed with our colleagues who also dissented that this will be the order of presentation. I will present first, followed by Honorable Wilfred Niwagaba, to be followed by Honorable Gilbert Olanya, to be followed by Honorable Abdallah Kiwanuka, to be followed by Honorable Betty Namboze, and lastly, the Honorable Medad Segona Lubega. And we have different
the rules of the time still apply.
Before I begin to present, if you may allow, I can address you on that. When a member of a committee dissents singularly, the weight of the report demands that we be accorded the same time frame, Madam Speaker.
Which rule is that? Which rule is that?
Under Rule 215, Sub-Rule 3, it says that a member dissenting or members. And the reasons are in this report, Madam Speaker, you'll see. If I may address you briefly, in the committee,
I am giving you 35 minutes.
This is
all of you. Honorable members, before we continue, we have Honorable Tim Bernard from Maruzi. Welcome, Honorable Tim. And then Honorable Tibiase Peace from Jinja. Welcome. And here, join me in welcoming our new members. Yes.
This is a minority report, Madam Speaker, in substantial dissent of the majority report of the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs.
Honorable members, can we listen to the report?
And the Committee on Legal and Parliamentary Affairs on the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026. This minority report is brought under Rule 215 of our Rules of Procedure of Parliament. In the opening remarks, Madam Speaker, it is critical that today, when a draconian bill is presented to this Parliament for enactment into law, the minority is persuaded by some of the most memorable speeches in the political history of Uganda. Honorable members of Parliament, please pay attention to the contents of this speech attributed to President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni in the early 1990s. This is what he said. I open the quote. Depending on the nature of the state, in a given society, law can be an instrument of oppression and exploitation, or of social justice and progress. Law is not synonymous with justice. It is not always synonymous with justice. It can be, but it may not be. What is legal is not necessarily what is just. Law can be used by the strong against the weak, by the rich against the poor, by the minority against the majority. Historically, law has been used by the oppressor against the oppressed. during the slave trade period, enslaved people were owned and disposed of like chattels, and it was perfectly legal to own a slave. The NRM government is strongly opposed to having laws on our statute books which serve the interest of the minority against the majority of the people, or in which any way promote to serve the injustice or advance backward interest in our society. We close the quote. The minority shall, where necessary, refer to the speech above for the purpose of reminding ourselves as legislators and fellow Ugandans. And 4,
Right Honorable Speaker. But we want to benefit from the citation. When you're citing, you're quoting somebody, you've stated the date, you could also tell us where that speech was
You
made.
can find the source.
Right Honorable Speaker, I am well conversant with the rules of procedure of this House. That's why I've confined myself to this report. I will be available to clarify if necessary. Members can listen, I will respond to you. Thank you. The minority report, where necessary, shall refer to the speech above for the purpose of reminding ourselves as legislators and fellow Ugandans.
Can I have a copy? Yeah. Me, I don't. Me, I'm analog.
And fellow Ugandans, for we have come from the far, we have come, and the apparent U-turns and reversals that are being made for whatever reasons being advanced, which reasons have no place in shaping the sovereignty of the people of Uganda. Areas of dissent and statement of reasons for dissent. Area 3.1, violations of the rules of procedure of Parliament. Madam Speaker, during the consideration of the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, the co-chairpersons violated several provisions of the rules of procedure of Parliament of Uganda. Rule 135 of the rules of procedure is instructive on reference of a bill to the committee as follows. Sub-rule 1, whenever the bill is read for the first time in the House, the bill shall be referred to the appropriate committee appointed under these rules. Sub-rule 2, the committee shall examine the bill in detail and make all such inquiries in relation to the bill as the committee considers expedient or necessary, and report to the House within 45 days from the date the bill is referred. 3, except in the cases of very minor amendments and subject to Rule 138, all proposed amendments to a bill referred to the committee shall be presented to the committee by the person proposing the amendment, and the committee shall scrutinize the amendment together with the bill. 4, the committee may propose and accept proposed amendments in the bill as the committee considers necessary, if the amendments, including new clauses and new schedule, are relevant to the bill. The minority observes that the committee violated sub-rules 2 and 3 in as far as it did not examine the bill in detail and further did not make all such inquiries in relation to the bill. In the view of the minority, the decision of the committee through a vote on a motion by Honorable Fox Odoi Oyelowo for an omnibus adoption of all clauses of the bill and the amendment by the learned Attorney General without exam query violated Rule 135. The minority, Madam Speaker, also observed that the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 was proposed by the Minister of Internal Affairs, Major General retired Kahinda Otafire. Sub-Rule 3 restricts the latitude to propose substantial amendment to only the mover of the bill, which is the Minister of Internal Affairs. Only minor amendments may be proposed by any other person who is not the proposer to the bill. With all due respect, the learned Attorney General proposed 18 amendments, all quite substantial in nature, which amendments the majority unilaterally adopted and relied on to pass the bill in the committee. The committee sought to have rejected the substantial amendment proposed by the learned Attorney General outrightly. To even make it worse, Madam Speaker, the new amendments were laid before the committee in form of a new bill. Rule 135, Sub-Rule 1, confines the committee to a bill read for the first time in the House and referred to the committee. The committee is stopped from directly receiving bills not read in the House and referred to it by fraudulently bypassing this House and smuggling an amended version of the bill to the committee, an illegality that goes to the root of parliamentary procedure and practice was committed and cannot be cured by any explanation at all. Madam Speaker, the minority further observes that no sooner had the learned Attorney General purported to present the amended Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 to the committee at about 12 noon on Thursday, 30th April 2026, than His Excellency the President, through his address to Ugandans at about 4 p.m. on the same day, withdrew instructions from the learned Attorney General. Instead, President publicly assigned Honorable Dennis Amson Obua to ensure that the bill concentrates on what he calls sovereignty of policy decision making. In the practice of law, there is nothing professional as humiliating as a client withdrawing instructions from you and sharing it out with the public outright. No wonder, since then, neither the Attorney General nor the Minister of Internal Affairs ever attempted to appear before the committee or the House. The House must therefore not entertain the two on anything to do with the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, since the President withdrew the vote of confidence in them. The minority, Madam Speaker, formed the view that Honorable Obua Hamson, having been given fresh instructions as per the written expression of the President, ought to have immediately sought audience with the committee to present the instructions given to him. Was it an instruction to withdraw the bill, or was it, what was it? Despite the insistence of the minority to invite the Honorable Hamson Obua under Rule 135, Sub-Rule 2, to make all such inquiries in relation to the bill, as this was the most expedient, the co-chairpersons, Honorable Kajwenje Wilson.
Honorable Jana, sorry for interruption. My presumption is that when you bring a minority, you bring your points of departure, not procedure. Flavia, points of departure, not a debate on the procedural ways.
Respectfully, this is one of the points of that I had.
Which one? Which one?
Under subheading, I said areas of dissent and statement for reasons of dissent as provided in the rules. The first was violations of the rules of procedure of Parliament. And I am explaining under Rule 135 that the committee ought to have, and on its own, move to go and inquire, to make inquiries. And my point is, having come to the attention of the committee that Honorable Obua Hamson was assigned, the committee ought to have moved itself to request Honorable Obua to come and substantiate. It goes to the root of my dissent, Madam Speaker.
So the committee instead went to Honorable Obua? Or they should have?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The co-chairpersons were evident. Madam Speaker, this is important. The co-chairpersons, Honorable Kajwenje Wilson and Honorable Baka Mugabe Stephen, were evidently partial, hostile, and continuously switched off the microphone of members in the committee they perceived to be against the bill. Contrary to the established practices of availing physical copies of submissions of stakeholders to members of parliament at the retreat, members of parliament were instead told to physically get copies to members of parliament. Instead were told that physical copies could avail since parliament was on a weekend. The views of Madam Speaker, of selected stakeholders were instead sent to members on WhatsApp to read on their phone. Members who were not on WhatsApp or whose phones could not open the WhatsApp were effectively denied critical document. Madam Speaker, the privileges of a member of parliament to the extent that some of the members of the committee had to jump on border to travel to Nassau Road to print the stakeholders' own reference. A passionate plea for the committee to adjourn until Monday, when parliament is open, for purpose of printing or photo, was turned down. But this gross.
I am rising on a point of procedure. I am rising on a point of procedure, Madam Speaker. A minority report, as per our rules, envisages that a member participates in the proceedings of a committee and then disagrees with some of the decisions taken by the majority. You read. But not to come here and tell us stories, how the committee. So, no. Read the rules. This parliament, while debating reports, is not for storytelling. How members were seated, how they were reading, going on border. What we expect, Madam Speaker, from the minority report is where the member disagrees with the decisions of the majority report. Not to waste time of parliament talking as if he's just reading a story. The honorable friend of mine proceeding correctly by wasting our time as parliament instead of being straight.
Honorable Dur, Jonah, I am actually enjoying your story. You could. Please, let's continue. Let's listen to the story.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, this grows up with utmost impunity, lest with shameless sycophancy is highly condemned. Presiding officers in committees and indeed plenary must be impartial, patient, and respectful of the constitutional rights of an MP to represent their constituencies without undue partiality and interruption. I must also add that the co-chairpersons of the committee appeared not to have addressed their minds to the rules of procedure of parliament which guided us, and opted for personal whims to decide substantive points of law as well as procedural matters that arose in the committee. My finding number one is that the proceedings were held in complete violations of Rule 135 of the Rules of Procedure of Parliament. Two, persons exhibited gross incompetence, lack of tolerance for divergent views, and stifled all avenues of debate during consideration of the bill.
Honorable Dur, incompetence. By the time you come and be a member of parliament in this house, let's tone down our language. Let it be parliamentary. Even when I'm enjoying your story, at least let's be parliamentary.
Assessing the impact of the bill against well-known parameters. Speaker, I don't want to go into the debate. I've addressed you on the around competencies. majority report that the aspect of the bill against well-known parameters such as GDP, debt to GDP ratio, balance, central bank reserves, interest rates, inflation, exchange rates, rate of growth, etc. Alien parameters form the basis of the assessment. The observation by the majority report that the certificate of financial implication met the statutory standard.
Honourable members,
Let me just
honourable members,
let me put
yes,
it, which I wrote is
all
put-
what has been in
this is what exactly
so how
happened in the
much?
committee.
2 minutes.
This report
To summarize.
and in the committee the same treatment, Madam Speaker, who are not heard. That's why I'm bringing this issue. I'm appealing to the House.
I have actually given you the same amount of time, 2 minutes. You conclude.
Madam Speaker, I want to put on the record that I cannot conclude in the 3 minutes you have given me, but I appreciate it. If it is your ruling that this report stops at this level, I have no problem. I respectfully submit, and then I can leave, because there is no way I can. And I wanted just to finally, because as you also know, this may be possibly the last time some of us may be in this parliament. So I wanted you to protect that constitutional right, that little window that the people gave me to be in this house, to represent them. I just plead of you. I may not come back ever, but that constitutional right for me to present, I wanted to ask that you give me.
Jonah, because you've actually spent the 35 minutes. Now, Jonah, I have always told you you're one of the people I will miss in this house. I am giving you an additional 5 minutes, and all the other minority reports, we will capture what is in your minority report, because the time has been taken.
Yes. Yes. You mark your reports. They mark their reports.
Right Honorable Speaker. Thank you so much, Right Honorable Speaker. I want to now go back to the report, but let the record capture that when I appeared in the committee, and you have designated me, Madam Speaker, as a member of Parliament to sit in the committee of the legal. In the joint committee, I was not given the opportunity. The same treatment, and that's why I thought this House would allow me to present. With that, let me just put on the record that that the 5 minutes that you have given to me is not enough for me to present this, and I thank you